Okay, so now we're going to be doing a blood draw from a cephalic vein. I need my alcohol to cleanse the site. I have my restrainer here to also help occlude the vein. Since I need 1.5 mils of blood, I have picked a 3 mil syringe so that I'm not overdoing it. And then I have my correct EDTA tube for blood. So I need to lightly cleanse the area. I'm going to go bevel up at a slight angle. Alright, Mackenzie's good girl. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. And make sure to draw back slowly so that I don't hemolyze. You're doing great. Good girl. A little bit more. I have my sample come out, and she will hold off the pressure. Because I did not use a Vacutainer and I have sharps, I need to place it in the tube myself to prevent any damage from to the blood vessels. Made sure not to get any bubbles, and then again gently invert the tube a few times to make sure it's fully mixed with the EDTA. And now I need to label it with my patient name, owner last name, date and time it's collected, and then her ID number for us. Mackenzie. School. 0. Today is the 1st, oh man, and it is 4. So there, I have my fully labeled tube, ready to be sent to the lab. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the blood mucosal timing test, and here we go.
I'll show you like after we're done, because we're not allowed to have our phone. Yeah, that's right. The anticipation is complete, but we'll go downstairs. I don't look here. Why do I have to look here? Look here. Oh, you're just like.
I do have my timer going. I'm using Clin wipes because I didn't bring coffee filters. And I brought a couple of them in so I can keep going around without retouching. Alright, I think we're good. Here's my last touch. A little bit more. Okay. From under the wound, or excuse me, where I lanced. No more bleeding. So our total time, I started at 5 minutes and we went down to 2 minutes and 49 seconds. So what is that? 2 minutes and 11 seconds to stop bleeding. And we're done. Alright, so now I will be getting ready for a manual CBC count, or excuse me, manual differential count of my white blood cells. and I like to make a few slides just to make sure that I can pick my best slide that has a thin enough layer of blood so I have a good monolayer and a nice feathered edge. Probably gonna have a little too much blood, but we'll see how it looks. So here are my smears. I'll leave them dry. And we use the Jarvet stain, so I do need to go through each one of my stains, dip for 5 seconds. Then I will let these dry, and after they are done drying, I am going to locate the monolayer under the microscope, turn it to my oil immersion layer, and then do my manual count by reading systematically through the monolayer and tallying 100 white blood cells. So now that these are dry, and I do have distilled water that I use on after each stain so that I'm not transferring stain into each of the other stains to help also reduce any precipitate that may stay on it. So. I always want to make sure that we are putting the frosted edge down so that any extra stain precipitate can run off of the slide and more towards the thicker edge that we're not going to be reading. Alright, so now that my slides are dry, I'm going to go ahead and pick which I think looks best, which I believe is this one, just based on monolayer and how much area the blood covers the slide. So now we will take it over here. So I have my manual counter here, which you can kind of see. I should do the best. And now we're going to do white blood cell differentials. Focusing in on my monolayer. All right, oil, and here we go. And again, I'm just going to count 100 white blood cells to figure out the percentage. Hoping to see any eosinophil. Gorgeous. Hi, son. Oh, results from my differentials. 5% eosinophils, 3% band neutrophils, 70% segmented neutrophils, 20% lymphocytes, and 2% monocytes, which now we could calculate absolute hours values from the white blood cell count. Okay, so now I need to run a prep profile on a patient that came in for acute vomiting. I let the rotor sit out long enough that it is room temperature. I have both of our in-house sample tubes. Since we are doing the chemistry, I need to use my green tap, not my purple tap, due to the different anticoagulants. Profile rotor. It only go until it hits the arrows on the other side. You can go in it. Okay. So now I need to go analyze my sample. And again, this is for a vomiting dog. Patient ID number. And we'll run that sample and see what we get. So and here we have my results for the prep profile. Okay, so now I'm going to be running a snap test for the canine pancreatic lipase to see if a patient has pancreatitis or not. So I have my ELISA snap test here, which has been left out for 45 minutes, so it is room temperature, as well as my sample. I spun down serum, and then I have my conjugate and my instructions to make sure I do everything correctly, and my timer for the proper time of 10 minutes. So I'm going to add 3 drops of serum to 4 drops of conjugate, mix it gently, and then get it into my snap test. Like that.
I don't really.
Snap test. Close it. Gently invert it 3 to 5 times. Alright, So now I'm going to pour it into the window, and I will snap it as soon as it hits the activator window. And then when I snap it, I will start my timer. Putting us in the fridge with this in there. Wait, oh no, are you, they're herbal tap? Yeah. Do you guys ready? So, a minute and 13 seconds remain. Alright, so our 10 minutes is up. So based on our snap test and our reference range, this dog has normal lipase levels. So to do a PCV, I'm going to need my hematocrit tubes, my Criticil, I have the capillary tube reader, I do need blood that is from an EDTA tube, and then I do have my refractometer ready to do my total protein. So you want to always do at least 2 capillary tubes to ensure that you have proper calibration in the centrifuge. And I'm going to fill each tube about 3/4 of the way full. And then place it in the Criticil. Wipe off any excess blood. Now that I have my tubes, I will go ahead and place them in my centrifuge, making sure I place them opposite of each other so that I do not throw off calibration, we don't lose blood or break tubes. Always make sure your Criticil is going outside so again that you don't lose your blood. And this machine is actually self-timed, so we will just push start, and when it is done, we can read the PCV. Alright, so the centrifuge is done running. I just need to wait until it stops. Never stop a running centrifuge with your fingers. 2 hematocrit tubes. To read this, you are going to put the bottom of the critocele, where the critocele and the red blood cells meet, at the 0 line, roll or come across until your plasma is at the 100% line, and then where the plasma and the red blood cells meet, that is where we read our line. So I have the bottom at 0, I have the plasma meniscus at 100%, and that means the PCV, being read here, is about 43%. So it's a PCV of 43%, and now using this we can get the total protein. So I'm going to take a chemical first. And to do this, I'm going to use my spun down hematocrit tube, and I'm going to carefully break it right above the buffy coat, and then use the non-broken end to gently dab it onto the refractometer. To the legs. This is reading at 7.6, so the total protein is 7.6 grams per deciliter.